Well, here we go again. This is contact report number 16, and it was translated by a Deep L translator. And corrections and improvements made by Catherine Mossman and Joseph Darmanin. Contact person is Semjase. Okay, contact report number 16, Saturday, 3 May 1975 at 08:17 in the morning. Semjase, do not find it disturbing in a fine, sensitive wise when I so suddenly intrude upon you at this early time for you, but this, however, is of necessity. Due to some inattentiveness from you, disturbances have occurred that I have to fix. Your inattentiveness lay in the fact that you have moved too carelessly with film and photo shoots in the last weeks. You were a little careless. The consequence of this is that some people have become aware of certain things of which they are not supposed to have any knowledge, since they can damage our cause. But there was also a carelessness on my part, because when I demonstrated flights to you for your film and photo purposes, I also paid too little attention to the surroundings because I had to concentrate too much on my ship and your cameras. So it escaped me, as it escaped you, that some people observed your efforts and wondered about your actions. Some of them followed you unnoticed afterwards and then did research on your person, encountering things they would not have been aware of. Thus, 3 of these people took steps to enlighten your actions in certain places. This is particularly true of 2 places where you were able to take important pictures of my ship. The danger created by these carelessness on our part is of less importance to you than it is to our cause itself, and to certain research findings which would be made by inappropriate investigations of your scientists, and which would not benefit the human beings of your world in their present development. These scientific research findings could be obtained on and in the weather trees that I have used as objects of comparison for my flights. They absorbed radiation from my ship and absorbed it because I came into its immediate vicinity or even touched it with the ship. This radiation, which is absolutely harmless to any form of life, lasts for several months and could be detected and analyzed by your scientists, which would mean a very rapid increase in their research and knowledge. But not powerful in things, they would cause devastating catastrophes, which we cannot allow because it would be in the direct fault of our carelessness. But since our technology, etc., does not allow us to simply paralyze the radiation absorbed by the trees or to remove it from the trees, there is only one possibility left, namely to eliminate these trees in the past, whereby, of course, all memories, written down documents, and photos, etc., are also eliminated at the same time. There will be no remembrance of these trees in humans exactly according to what I once told you about such eliminations. This is the important message that I had to give you today, with the provision that in the future you should not be so careless about these things. Be aware that everywhere there are sources of danger, and that many people on earth have anchored their existence very much in the negative. This is also one of the reasons why we always make our landings in such a manner that we cannot be observed, because there is always the danger of radiation being emitted, which could be detected and analyzed by scientists if it were caught by anything. Therefore, the landing locations must also remain largely secret, which must also be understandable and obligatory for your group members. As the internal group knowledge and possible research on your part, there is nothing wrong with our side if trust and discretion are maintained. Now, I do not want to disturb you in your work anymore, so live then, ... Billy, wait a minute, Semjase. Do not immediately withdraw from the realm of my thoughts, because with your message a big problem also appears. I made a film and slides at the respective places. Will they also be destroyed? And what about my memory? That would not be fair. Can you not make exceptions and control the elimination you have declared in such a manner that certain things are not covered by it? Semjase. In principle, this is of course possible as far as your last question is concerned. And I could also justify this exception if you tell me that you do not give any information to anyone other than your trustworthy friends and trustworthy group members about where the two places mentioned are for the time being. Under these circumstances, I would not eliminate the film and the images and your memories. Billy, I fully meet your demands, Semjase, but what about the memories of my friends and acquaintances, etc., if they already know the places? It would be really fair if you made an exception here too. Semjase, unfortunately, I cannot give my consent to this, but I can promise so much that I will leave them a very wide, unconscious presumption of memory, which will appear to them as something indeterminable. Billy, at least that is something. But now I have a question if you have already contacted me. You told me at the last contact that we should also deal with the crystals and rocks according to certain rules. I was now offered the opportunity to have these things sold by a very specific man. Shall we act upon that possibility? Semjase, I have expressly pointed out that things should only be sold and handed over to persons who are in conformity with your group. Billy, but the person I was told would be an expert in the field. Semjase, that is absolutely irrelevant. Billy, I was told, however, that this person was engaged in frontier science and the humanities, and that he or she was well acquainted. He could also do analytical work for us. Semjase, you may call the name of the person, because I know him through your conversation, because I overheard him as well. And one more time. You may call the name of the person, because I know him through your conversation, because I overheard him as well. I still have to stick to my purpose. That may change over time, of course, but for the time being, I have to stick to my purpose. You can have the person examine the crystals and minerals analytically, of course, but only if the origin of the things is not mentioned with a word. I must make this my destiny, because I have already explained that dangers lurk everywhere. Billy, as you wish, Semjase. I will act accordingly. However, I would still be interested to know why you also eavesdropped on our last conversation, in which Mr. Jacob explained that I should tell you certain things about your negative comments about him, which were valuable to him because he could have learned from them. Semjase, first of all, I was interested in your conversation as a continuation and transformation of the whole complex built up by my mistake. It should therefore be understandable that I also overheard this conversation. Second of all, I found Mr. Jacob's remarks delightfully amusing and at the same time also very joyful. Even though there was a certain sting in his words that may have escaped you, they were words of honesty that he spoke. I knew that he was very understanding, but that he would react in this way, that he was not likely for me, because I do not draw on the view of the future for everything, and because, on the other hand, I do not want to penetrate into his innermost things. But I would also like to give him the feeling of my gratitude, because he acknowledges that also our way of life needs further development, and we therefore make mistakes, which he accepts in the form that he does not become reproachful. In other words, and in another sense, that he excuses my actions, which were faulty. That's an apology. Billy, thank you, Semjase. I am sure he will be very pleased to hear your words when I send them to him. Semjase, it certainly will be, but now I really do not want to keep you from your work any longer. Billy, do not worry about it, but on the other hand, I do not have any questions right now. So that was a quickie, only 10 minutes. That was a quick contact report. I was kind of hoping they'd get back into the astral projection. She kind of left that hanging in the last one, I think. Or at least I didn't catch all of it. So anyway, that was contact report 16. We'll see you on 17. Have a good day.